Terre de Hermès by Hermès is a citric, woody, earthy, spicy, fresh fragrance. It has main notes of orange, vetiver, pepper, grapefruit, cedar, patchouli, benzoin, pelargonium, and flint. So those last two notes are pretty uncommonly seen in fragrances. Pelargonium is really just geranium, they're the same thing. And flint has a mineralic, earthy quality about it, which you definitely pick up in this fragrance. When I first smelled this fragrance, it actually reminded me of my grandfather, which is not a criticism because he always smelled really good. But this definitely does have an old school vibe about it. I'm of the opinion that fragrance doesn't really have an age or a gender. Anyone can wear whatever they want, whenever they want. But if I had to assign an age to this, I would say 40 plus would be the most appropriate. This fragrance is totally full of oxymorons and contradictions because, like I mentioned, it has a timeless, old school feel about it, but it also feels modernized at the same time. And I also mentioned that dirty, earthy orange, but it also has an extremely fresh, clean feeling about it. So there's a lot of contradictions going on, but the end result is a beautiful fragrance. It's really classy and sophisticated to the point to where this fragrance reminds me of James Bond. It has that professional vibe about it, which is a really big compliment in my opinion, because James Bond is a badass. And another great thing about this is it's coming up on 20 years old, but it's still unique. It's not a scent profile that got cloned to death. And it's also not a scent profile that really got oversaturated in the market. So it's interesting how almost 20 years later it remains unique. And I actually really highly recommend this because if this vibe fits you, it's extremely versatile. It could be a signature fragrance, for example. And the performance is not the best. It's like 6 to 8 hours longevity. It's got pretty low to moderate projection. I would say it turns into a skin scent relatively quickly. And that could be because my bottle's been reformulated, because I did pick this up a couple years ago. And like I said, it's almost 20 years old. So this has probably undergone a couple reformulations at this point. But like I said, if it fits the vibe for you, extremely versatile. And you could argue that the performance kind of fits the vibe because it's such a classy fragrance. I highly recommend it though. It definitely, I would say it's really versatile, but obviously more for the warmer weather, more so than the colder weather. But really you could wear it year round. I gotta give this one a 10 out of 10 just because it's one of the greatest fragrances of all time. This current formulation is probably more like a 9 out of 10, but that was Terre de Hermès by Hermès.